Can mobile phone technology really deliver a convincing take on a game designed for PC, Xbox One and PlayStation 4? Some might say that Nintendo Switch has already proven the point in several cases, but Epic's Fortnite on iOS is one of the best examples we've seen yet of a convincing convergence between mobile and console technology. In this X vs X face-off, it's fascinating to see just how close Fortnite running on iPhone X compares to the same game running on Xbox One X. Older iPhones. Well, you get a recognizable experience, but technologically, it's just not in the same ballpark. We've already seen PUBG running on mobile hardware, and to be fair, it's a reasonable approximation, but while the map is comparable, the visual cutbacks are such that in many cases, it looks like a different game altogether. Not so with Fortnite. From the moment you fire up the game on the iPhone X, it's genuinely surprisingly how much this looks and feels like the established console release. The menus are mostly the same, the visuals remain similar and the map is identical. If you've been away from the console or PC version for a while, you might not even pick up on the differences at all. And then there's the crossplay. Fortnite on mobile has to offer a very similar experience to the established Battle Royale game on the other systems because it's possible for mobile gamers to join in with PC, Xbox and PS4 sessions, which is exactly how we got our comparison clips together for the video below. I joined forces with myself on Xbox One X, then went searching for a quick elimination. By removing my Xbox persona from the game, the spectator mode automatically switches to my teammate, me again, this time playing on iPhone X. The result? The same action captured twice in real time, once on the iPhone, once on the Xbox One X in spectator mode. The initial view from the party bus paints a very positive picture with a detailed island sprawled out below the player, offering a very close match to the extreme detail seen on Xbox One X. Certainly, the geometry density is very similar, but side by side, the differences begin to take shape. Firstly, there's an adjustment to field of view. The iPhone X's ultra-wide display yields a much wider FOV, meaning you see much more of the playfield, though it is likely that your fingers will cover much of the additional real estate. The iPhone 8 has the same SoC as the X, but a more conventional screen aspect ratio, so it's likely to be a closer match to the Xbox presentation. Yes, there are compromises and trades, but the iOS version of Fortnite running at its best is quite the technological marvel. Lighting is visibly reduced on the phone, while shadow map draw distance is pulled in massively. Fortnite's dynamic shadows tied to sun position run at 30 Hz on the Xbox, but actually seem to update every 5 seconds or so on iPhone X. Foliage is replicated on the mobile phone, but it lacks a specular element, and isn't animated. The lack of grass animation becomes most evident when moving outside of the storm wall. Really, the whole visual impact of standing outside of the play area is reduced dramatically on mobile, with the wind effects and lighting massively reduced in fidelity. Other changes are also made. Ambient occlusion is missing, as are incidental point lights. The reduction in OW is especially noticeable while exploring interiors, which look quite stark by comparison, while the actual resolution of the shadow maps is also increased on Xbox. Screen space reflections are also absent from water surfaces, resulting in much less detail, especially apparent on the lake. These sacrifices quickly add up, but then you remember that this is running on a phone, not the most powerful console hardware money can buy. And so despite these changes, compromises and cutbacks, much of its visual identity has been maintained. Wandering through various towns and buildings reveals slight changes to geometry, but the overall effect is remarkably similar. The animation is there, the density of objects is there, and the game world is presented just as it is on console and PC. It really is the full experience in that sense, and the fact that it's all running on a handheld device, albeit one running the fastest mobile SoC on the market, is simply exceptional. As you descend from the party bus, the limitations of the mobile version start to come into focus. Aggressive LUDs are in place and shadows are only drawn when near shadow casting objects. Lighting is reduced in quality on mobile. Point lights featured prominently on Xbox One X are absent, and indirect lighting is all but eliminated. Screen space reflections are absent on mobile, while the quality of the stormy skies above is reduced. The iPhone X version does at least feature a wider FOV. In the right conditions, the iPhone X version holds up reasonably well against its bigger brother. All of the aforementioned differences remain visible, but the end result is still impressive. And standing outside of the storm wall, the mobile version relies on a strong vignette but ultimately falls short of the console version. While density is reduced, the addition of foliage on iPhone X helps create a visually comparable experience. The older iPhone 6s is completely lacking this feature. Interior, indirect lighting is downgraded significantly on mobile with a completely lack of ambient occlusion. Shadow map resolution is reduced on mobile while the soft rim lighting visible on objects in this scene is absent as well. Then there's performance. With only the most minor stutter, Fortnite on iOS runs at a locked 30 frames per second, with proper frame